Well, hello, this is Mr. Ippolito, and today we're going to go over question number 1 in this video from the video notes on Crash Course World History on Islam. The reason why I wanted to focus specifically on question number 1 is because there's so much great information that historians deal with within this first question, and I want to make sure you understand all of it. Things like how long is a century? What does a range mean? And what's the difference between CE and BCE and BC and AD? Lots of different issues that we're dealing with and questions that I can answer for you. So let's go ahead and get started. The first part of the question asks, what range of years is the 7th century? Islam began in the 7th century. So a range, just like in math, a range has a starting number and an ending number. In history, it has a starting year and an ending year. And a century is a period of 100 years. So the range of the 7th century is 601 to 700. Now, how do we know that this is the range? How do we know that it starts and ends with 601 and 700? Well, this is the way that we number centuries. We always take that first year, we get rid of that, and we take off the numbers, the last two zeros of the last year. And so we're left with just the number that's in the hundreds place, and that's how we come up with the 7th century. I'll give you another example. The century that we're in right now, that is the year range from 2001, that's when the century began, the one that we're in right now, and will end in the year 2100. So again, if we take off the first part right there, we get rid of the 2001 part, and then we strip the two zeros. So all we're left is the hundreds, and in this case now, the thousands place. We strip off those two zeros, and we're left with the number 21. That lets us know that we are currently in the 21st century. So that's how we are able to designate centuries, is we use that method. We always take the last year of the range, just like 2100 is the last year in the century range, the 100-year range that we're in right now. That means that we're in the 21st century. So that's what the deal is with centuries, and how do we properly name centuries. The next part of the question says, so what is CE, and is that anything like BC or AD? Well, CE stands for Common Era, and Common Era is the way that historians, the method that historians today use to describe the years that happen after the birth of Jesus. Common Era is actually the same as AD, Anno Domini. Anno Domini means the year of our Lord. So AD was what we used for a long time, because most of the historians of the West were Christian, and so because we were marking our calendar based on the birth of Christ, we use AD, Anno Domini, the year of our Lord, to describe those years that happened after the birth of Christ. Before Common Era is the equivalent, it's BCE, that is the equivalent of BC, before Christ. So those are the year designations that we use to describe the years that were before the birth of Jesus. Now, if we use a number line as an example, let's say that the orange is everything before the birth of Jesus and the pink is everything after the birth of Jesus. There's the birth of Jesus right there in the middle of the number line. So BC, or before Christ, is before. It's on the almost like on the negative side if this were a number line in math. And then AD, or Anno Domini, the year of our Lord, is everything after. So historians for a long time use BC and AD to describe years before and after. So let's blank out this number line and look at it another way now. So historians recently have wanted to become more sensitive to people who are non-Christians and try to be a little bit more religion neutral when it comes to naming years in history. So we used to refer to the year right before the birth of Jesus as 1 BC, 1 before Christ. Well, today, many historians use 1 BCE, or before Common Era. Same thing, let's take a look at this year. This year, traditional historians would call it 2014 AD, or Anno Domini. However, modern historians will also use the term 2014 CE, or Common Era. Now, is there one correct way? Well, it depends on who you talk to. Historians will disagree on this. Some historians are more traditionalist and want to go with BC and AD, while other historians say, you know what, we need to be more inclusive and be respectful of people who are non-Christians and try to be sensitive to everyone's feelings. Are you going to get historians who all agree? No. And when it comes to a test or something that comes up in my class, you can use these terms interchangeably. I just want you to understand what they mean and why certain people choose to use the terminology that they use, and you can make that decision for yourself. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.